Howdy, everybody. We got it completely new in here tonight. Uh, it's me and Lisa, and that's going to be it. And Lisa will be in here in a few minutes. Um, our special guest will be here in a few minutes. She said that I get to start tonight. Um, Big news out there, in case you haven't heard. Verlena Smith, Miss V, from Catch Fish with Us, is taking over the Golden Whisker Awards, and she's. If you want to know what all's going on, go check it out on Facebook, the Golden Whisker Awards. Check it out with her page. She's putting it out there. She's making some changes, and so far, I think they're for the better. She's still got a good crew for reviewing stuff, but guys, she's going to do something that we haven't seen before. She is going to have a show where she's showing the new submissions for the week, so that everybody gets a chance to see this stuff. So that's the big news that's out there right now. We've got another question that everybody's wanting to know. In case you wasn't in here last week, where's Daryl? Well, he used to take some beatings for whenever he was wrestling. He's got some stuff that hangs over from that. And he goes out here and does things to take care of the community. Tonight, his church is hosting a revival going on all week. And say a prayer that people will come to the Lord this week, and everything clicks on like it's supposed to. While I'm waiting for Lisa to come back in here in a minute, let's talk about upcoming tournaments. The next tournament, that's a big tournament coming up for this group, is the Iron Cats tournament, July 19th from 7 p.m. till. I don't know exactly. Well, it ain't no set time on it because it depends on who catches fish and how often they catch them. August 23rd is the Wokes Jug Fishing Tournament. We don't have a whole bunch of people saying, we got a bunch of people saying they're going to be there, but we haven't had many people contact us to actually show up, actually get registered. So if you want to fish the Jug Fishing Tournament, message Lisa. You can talk to her on Facebook, Messenger, Quotes page, her page, whatever. In case you didn't notice, in the last few days, Lisa has dropped the burrito from her name. The burrito was an issue with her toe, and that was not permanent. Her name is permanent. It's Lisa Swain, the catfishing lady. Some important dates for everybody to know. The Mega Bucks tournament is coming up in Vicksburg, Mississippi, July 26th and 27th. We've got friends that are fishing in that. We're going to have Jeremy and Andrew. That's Creole Catfishing. And Tank and Danny Stone's going to be fishing with them. If you get a chance to come by down there, there's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be a lot of big anglers there. There's going to be a lot of former fishing people there. It'll be a good show. Come down and watch it. We're going to be down there July 20, the night of the 24th, and we're going to be there the 25th, 26th, and 27th. Come by and see us. We'll be at River Cats Tackle Booth. And there is the lovely Lisa coming in. Some important dates for next year. CatCon is January this coming year, January 9th and 10th. Go ahead and get your tickets are available. Get your hotel and all set up. Get your vacation scheduled. Get things in line for that. And then the gathering next year is going to be April 23rd. No, yeah, April 23rd, 24th, and 25th. So get your stuff in line for that. Get your campsites because they will be getting gone. Um, Over here in chat tonight, first in was Mike Sampson. Sampy's always one of the first ones there. We've got Mr. Gimpy, Catch Fish with Us. Chris, how you doing, buddy? Norman the Mountain. Norman is a cool dude. We met him out at work one day, and he's been around ever since. We got Bobcat Outdoors. Bobcat, if you need bait, we're hurting because you live right there where you got bait. We got Ryan Boards, blue collar fishing. Got some of the best B-Cat boards, or their planer boards, some of the best B-Cat boards out there. And there is, it's a good show tonight. Daryl ain't here. So, I mean, we got Nebraska Wildcats, welcome in. Troy with Real and Virtual Outdoors. Bobby, 922. Glad to see you tonight. And there is Miss V. She's the one that, guys, she does more than you could think. Yesterday, they took a guy fishing that they met. I guess they met him at the lake. Her and Chris took a guy fishing, took him out, and he had never really done any catfishing. They've hooked him. They made him do everything. Let's see here. We got, I guess I need to slow down and look at these. See who's talking about what. There's Catfishing Dreams. Oh, do we want to even mention that? Let's see. Rolling down through here. Wolf's Den Outdoors. Welcome in. Glad to see you tonight. And there's Crappie Day Darren. How you doing? Miss Chrissy. Y'all, that's another lady that does a lot behind the scenes and a lot for everything. Say a prayer for her. Keep her in your prayers because she's always working on good things. Lance McCool guy, the Hawaiian fisherman, lives in Wisconsin. Figured that out. He's just running all over the world. Let's see. Scroll on down through here. Rowdy Royal, glad to see you tonight. And that gets us all the way down here to the bottom. Now, yeah, Gimpy, you've been once at least because Gimpy, you remember, I was there whenever you had to work that night. Now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Lisa.
What am I going to say?
Why don't you have anything to say?
You took it all.
Yeah, everybody wants to know who's coming in tonight. And let's see here.
Well, at the moment, he's
okay
in the process of doing something.
Okay, well.
And then he'll be on.
Yeah, let's see here. Hey, Gimpy, Bobcat's got you an offer there to go fishing with him. That is a great trip. If he can't catch them bumping, he's got other holes that he'll take you to that he can catch fish too. He's good at that stuff. Try to get who to take you out. Miss V will be glad to take you out. You should go up there to where she's at, where she'd take you out on Hoover or take you out on Sandusky Bay. They're good at taking people like that. Ryan, she sees it. I'll leave it there. I didn't get to run in my mouth though, and I done took everything away. But we've got a special guest tonight, and y'all will be very surprised. I think with everything that's going on that he's got going on, and let's see here. I can't turn this noise down. But so what's everybody got going? When is Bobcat going fishing next? Hey, if you get a chance, go look at Bobcat's videos. Um, Ryan Bort, Brandon Fish is in them, so he's got some good videos. But Lisa needs Miss Chrissy in here. Her and Miss Chrissy get to talking, and they just go crazy. Um, they talk for hours. And there's Dominic Hollis. Dom's coming in here tonight. He's Lisa's guard dog. Gimpy says that him and his buddy's going to be down there on July 18th. You could hook up with Bobcat a Den. There's Miss Jody coming in. Oh man, Fish Sizzles the eye candy. Well, Bobcat ain't grown up enough to be eye candy. But y'all, we went fishing this weekend. Me and Lisa did. We'll kill a little bit of time here. We fished a few minutes here, a few minutes there, and I caught, I don't know, 5 or 6 fish before she got in the boat with me. After she got there, we rode around a lot and all. Been working on a motor, trying to get my motor on the boat going like it's supposed to. Still ain't got that done. So, went and bought another motor. And we will have and anybody, I've got a 2014 Honda 115 horse 4-stroke for sale if anybody needs one. It's not the one that's giving me problems. I also got a 99 Mercury 90 horse 2-stroke, and it's for sale. We are putting a new 90 horse Merc 4-stroke on our boat. We'll have it up and running this week. They're supposed to be done. They said they'd have it before the weekend, and so we're gonna go see what we can do. Get it out and run it to death probably Friday, but we'll see how that goes. That 115, I bought it last week. And if you're serious about it, message me and backstage or through Messenger or whatever, and we'll talk about it. But okay, make myself a note because I forget everything. Okay. I spent all day today running all over the country, getting motors fixed up and bought and all that kind of stuff. So, Mr. Gimpy, you just now subbing the Benoit ladies. Man, you slow. Benoit ladies put out some great videos.
Okay. Are we ready for our special guest?
Hey, chat. She's talking to y'all.
Oh, crap. I ain't gonna leave him hanging. So let's welcome to the stage Jerry Hager and Janice.
419 Fishing and Powder Coating. Welcome in, folks.
How's it going, guys?
We're great tonight. How about y'all?
We're doing good. Tired and hot, but good.
What do you do for a living, Jerry?
Well, for the last year or so, I've been learning to do remodeling and handyman type stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay. And
Like,
Miss Janice sitting there staring at her phone in her lap.
I'm reading comments. I can't see the comments on mine, so
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you what, folks. If you get a chance to deal with these people, Jerry's doing a little bit of remodeling and stuff right now, but he's got other things going on, and we're going to let him tell about the other things he's got going on.
And how you got started in it?
Yeah. Tell us what you're doing, Jerry.
honestly, I got started doing these rod holders and whatnot because of that Corona deal. It was back in 20 and 21. Like every time we would go fishing somewhere, we'd go to a bait shop. Inevitably, someone would be there asking for a rod holder, and every single one of them had to tell them no. Nope, we can't get any in. And it just kind of got on my nerves. And just kind of reiterated my, I don't know if distaste is too strong of a word, but like I always preferred small and local business over corporate structure. And so we were, back then we were just using PVC pipe and hose clamps, putting them on rebar. And it was kind of frustrating because I never could keep the pipe stable, but we were giving those things away every time we go to a bait shop. We'd give one away, and then I'd have to find the supplies to make another one because nobody was able to get in rod holders. And so the guy that started off to be my partner, me and him just talked about it, and we decided we were going to make rod holders and make nice ones that we could trust with our rigs, because, back then we were both using Mad Cats, but, we use a variety of stuff over the years. We got Mad Cats, Whisker Seeker, Catch the Fever. None of these are cheap stuff, and we don't like to see them go swimming. So we just wanted to make good rod holders that if we could trust them with our gear, then we felt other people could trust them as well. But we wanted to be different. We didn't know at that time how saturated the market is with rod holders. You got quite a few small businesses out there, and most of them make really good merchandise. And so we learned really fast that we were going to have to do something a little bit different if we didn't want to be like everyone else. So we started off with just those basic pipe holders, but we wanted to make it personalized. We wanted to make it just for that person. If that person left that rod holder on the bank, and then a year later seeing it in somebody's pickup, they can say, "Hey, that's mine. I'd like to get it back." Whatever, I wanted to be personal for that individual. Something that they could look at and just say, "That's mine. That's not just another one of those. That's not just another one of those. Like, that's mine." Like, I really don't consider my holders 419 holders. I consider each one of them, I build them per request or per order, and I make them for that person. I don't really consider them 419 holders. I consider each one for that person. That's their holder. And I want to make something that they can be proud of.
Well, I've got a set that's not the regular round cup holders. What are the other ones that are you doing that are the barrel, not the barrel, but what do you call those?
I just call them a cradle holder.
Okay.
I really like the design. I was scrolling through Facebook a couple of years ago, just looking at trying to find everything I could that was out there because I was looking for something to be competitive in the smaller and light but still strong market. You know, because you got guys out there like shakedowns and cat claws and those guys, like they're pretty easy to put a bunch of them together. You know, they're light, they're strong, they look nice. I wanted something of that nature as well, but I didn't want to look like those guys. I wanted it to be mine. Well, I was scrolling through Facebook and I came across this page that had that style, and I hadn't seen any post. Like the last post was probably 2 years old, and I reached out to the people and just asked them what was going on. And the lady was like, "Well, my husband used to make those, but he's out of business." She goes, "But if you want to use them, then you can use them." And I'm like, "Well, that's awesome." Well, I completely modified it to where it fits us. I mean, the basic principle is still there, but I modified it to fit us. And, you know, to be completely transparent, I pay that person a percentage of each one I make just to be fair, you know, because it's not my genuine design. I use it under permission and I modified it to fit me, to fit my taste. And so they are very strong. They're pretty light. They're pretty easy to pack several of them in, you know, in one bag or whatever. And,
Well, we've got 6 of the regular rod holders, regular bank rod holders that we got from you, and I take 5 of them and turn them upside down and put them in the one. And I throw it over my shoulder, and I can tote 6 rod holders with no issues out across the field. And our rod holders, mine are red. And I like the red because it really shows up. Let's see if we can get this to show up. Got my name in it. Got my ranking whenever I got out of the military. And it's got the eagle with the Marines and everybody in the bottom, all of us together. These are all powder coated. This is a mammoth. This is a mammoth. Shoot, what is that called?
it's just called a tumbler.
Okay, tumbler. That's what I was trying to think of. They've got all. They went to Mammoth to do a couple different ones, and Mammoth said, "Hey, we'll just make you a dealer." So they've got really good cups. They got really good tumblers. They can get the backpacks. They can get the coolers. They can get anything Mammoth that you want. And on the tumblers and the cups and their rod holders, you get them customized to you. Miss Janice does the artwork, and Jerry does the powder coating. This cup right here, I've dropped it. I've kicked it across the pavement. I carry my stuff all the time. It is with me all the time. Our rod holders are powder coated. They've got our names in them and everything. You know, we can only go so intricate, but because of the decals now, but they'll do whatever they can to get it just about any way you want. My light over here has gone crazy tonight.
Everything except the Marine.
Do what?
Dom said everything except the Marines.
Oh no, I've done several drinkware and rod holders for Marines. I've done it for, the only thing I haven't done anything for is I have yet to have someone ask me for something for the Coast Guard. But other than that, I've done tumblers, coffee cups, rod holders, water bottles, like whatever someone wants. Or I've done Navy, I've done Army, I've done Marines. I've done Air Force. I mean, the only one I haven't done yet is I have yet to meet someone that came out of the Coast Guard and wanted something for that. But otherwise, I've done the others.
Well, see, the Coast Guard's more embarrassed than the Air Force. You know, the Coast Guard is the second cousin over here, and Dom's saying that the Army Rangers lead the way, but I'll disagree with that. We go in, the Air Force goes in and bombs the heck out of wherever it is, and then the Marines and the Army goes in. But, so I'll push that right now because the Marines never made it, and the Army Rangers never made it last week whenever everything went crazy. Benoit ladies are correct. Janice is crafty. She can do all kinds of stuff. She does all kinds of stuff. If you want anything.
As a matter of fact, speaking of the Marines, I have a Viking friend who was in the Marines down in Missouri, and Janice crocheted him. I kid you not, she crocheted him a queen-size blanket of the Marine emblem. I don't know how far back on Facebook you have to go to find that thing, but it was impressive. When the guy got it in the mail, he reached out to me, and he was so happy with it that he had a few expletives to use as well. But like he was thrilled to death. Like he really appreciated that. He was like, "This had to take her months to do." I said, "Yeah, actually, it took her about 7." She just, but we appreciate our military, whether they're current or whether they're retired. We appreciate our military. We do not take our freedom for granted. We know that it ain't free. Somebody has to give something for it. And we appreciate those that do. I personally was not allowed to serve. My hearing was bad and they denied me. I sent a picture of it to Miss Lisa.
Okay.
But we appreciate our veterans. And so, when we're able, I give gifts for veterans as thank yous for what they already done. It's not something I can do all the time, but when I'm able, I do it.
That's this, guys. He sent that to me. Let's welcome in a few more here real quick. We got Brandon Fissizzles done come in, and he's mouthing about everything and anything. Miss V stopped back in. She had to leave for a minute, and she's back. Lee Osborne. How are you tonight, Mr. Osborne? Of course, Dominic's in here. The Benoit ladies. Justin Funderburk's in here. We got a bunch of good people in here tonight. We appreciate y'all coming in. Sorry Daryl's not here. I know all of you came just to see him. But let's see. No, Bobby, you didn't cut a pass, so we had to place land. We could make our own. Lisa, can you show that picture that Janice just sent you?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Benoit ladies have got that blanket, though. Jerry, I didn't say nothing to Jerry after we bought the rod holders. And Jerry found out because they're new to Facebook, folks. Go follow them. Watch what they do. They're doing some stuff on YouTubes and all now. And watch them. Watch what they got going. But Jerry found out somehow that I was prior military. And I am proud of my military service. And he sent me this cup. And I love it. And Jerry and them all the time do this. Jerry has some videos where that he gets out. Oh man, Look at that.
How amazing is that?
Janice worked for like 7 months to finish that. She wasn't quite expecting it to be that big, but that's just how it came out.
That is unreal, Janice.
I'm not joking at all. She crocheted every single bit of that by hand.
That is unreal.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I enjoy doing stuff like that. I'm on a couple projects now.
That just, um,
Phenomenal.
that's just unreal. Uh, Chris, catch fish with us, said I skipped the first half to protest Daryl being part time. Well, Daryl should be back next week, and I told him next week I was going to take off. So um, you know, I doubt that I will, but I got to threaten him anyway. Miss Chrissy does a lot of crocheting. Let's see here. Our Benoit Ladies has a catfish at Benoit Fishing Outdoors on it. Hey, Benoit, send that over to Lisa. Show where we can show that off too. If it ain't on the bed where you got to dig out to it. But you do the bank rod holders, and I've got three of them that are mine, and Lisa's got three. And I have stomped them things. I took a hammer and drove them into rocks and everything else. These things hold up like you wouldn't believe, folks. They just stick with it, and you know, just they're better than normal. The way I actually found Jerry was I was in another Facebook page or another YouTube page. Adam Zimmerman. What's Adam's company?
Cat claws.
Cat Claws. And he was talking about Jerry and them, and he was sending a couple of cat claws to Jerry to be powder coated. And so that's how I found out about Jerry and them. And now Jerry's sitting in there, and he's becoming YouTube famous.
Well, I got a long way to go on the YouTube thing, but I'm working at it. There's a lot of places that we fish that there's not really reception. And a couple of weeks ago, I was trying to make a video so I could practice the editing thing. And it seemed that no matter what I did, it just didn't work. And so I ended up making a short video calling out one of our fellow team members, Sergio Rivas. And that was about as far as I got on that deal because I couldn't figure out how I didn't want to run 4 straight hours of nothing. I wanted to try to put it in pieces, but have it continual and just kind of edit out stuff. But it didn't matter what I did, whether I shut off the screen or what, it would just stop it completely and start all over again. So I gave up on it. But so we do live when we have signal and when the weather permits. We tried to do a live last weekend, but it kept raining on and off, and I didn't really want my phone out in the rain.
Norman, you ain't right, Norman.
So yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't right, Norman.
That's funny.
That might be an insurance claim. If nothing else, it'd give us an opportunity to come back down there and visit again for a while. Since you won't go fishing with me.
I know. Since he won't go fishing, might as well make an excuse.
But what do y'all fish for mostly, Jerry?
Mostly we go for catfish, but you know, a lot. I mean, we like our night crawlers, so whatever whatever bites those,
You-
whatever bites those. Janice seems to be really good at catching carp, and so Sergio Rivas down in Texas, he makes a lot of rigs for gar and carp and that sort of thing, and he makes some absolutely magnificent personalized, the little rattle and float things, the spooks. Like
yeah.
he makes some really nice personalized spooks. And so he sent Janice some carp rigs because she's already caught a personal best this year carp and drum and a buffalo. And so she just made up her mind that she wants to go for a state record.
Well, now I've got a question for you, Jerry. You keep talking. You talking about she's caught her PB in 3 different categories. Um, are you? And you're talking about she's really good at catching this. Are you insinuating that she catches more fish than you do?
No, I'm not insinuating nothing. I'm saying that. My main job is to run the net. My net skills are top shelf. Just saying.
Jerry fished for 2 or 3 months in a row and caught just 1 or 2 little fish here and there. Janice has absolutely stomped him this spring.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough on me this year. But you know what? It's rough on me even if I catch fish because there was like 2 years in a row where I outfished her in the early spring and I was catching all the flatheads. There's some attitude that goes with that. Yeah, there's some attitude that goes with that. So if I don't catch fish, I get irritated.
Oh, that is cool, Benoit. Thank you for sending that in too. Guys, look at what she does. Um, you know, she can take that artwork. What's the big thing? She can take that artwork that's on that blanket and she can put it on a cup. You know, she takes that stuff right there and it takes work, but she can put whatever kind of logo or whatever you want on it.
Lance wants to know how much our rod holders. The rod holders are 40 each plus tax and shipping. Personally.
And they're personalized, Lance. They're not what you gonna go out here and buy at these other places. No,
Mr. Gimpy, I don't want to mess up my computer, so that's not going to happen.
we ain't
Oh,
one of their.
never mind. Never mind. I get you. Crochet Daryl's face. That's terrible.
Man, the guy ain't even here and he's still catching it.
Yeah. And Lee Osborne says that catfish looks amazing. The Benoit ladies are talking about Janice as a goddess. Janice does amazing work.
I do my best.
But we're also going to point out Mr. Jerry sits down, takes what she gives him, and powder coats it and gets it laid out where she can put her artwork on it, and it's got a beautiful background, a beautiful base. He clear coats it. He does an awesome job with this powder coating, and they're working in their they're working in a, I don't know, a garage or a basement or something.
It's we do all of our cutting, welding, grinding, powder coating, and baking all in a one stall garage. That's all I have right now.
Guys, Jerry? What is your goal with this? Is your goal to turn this? Is it going to be a sideline job, or is it going to be something other you want to do full time? Um, is this something y'all are wanting to turn into a business, a
Uh,
full grown business, or full time business, or what?
yes, that is my goal. I've been pounding away long hours, buying equipment as quick as I'm able for about 3 years now, and just this year, or I don't know, it was a few months ago. I can't recall exactly when I reached out to y'all, but I just we went out on faith to start this. I don't know, pro staff affiliate. I don't know what you call it really, but our team, and you guys are one of the ones that were really gracious enough to represent our stuff. And I really want to do this full time. I know that it's kind of hard to do rod boulders full time, but I want to be able to do other stuff. Like I want people to be able to send me stuff, and we can blast it and code it and send it back to them. You know, like I want to make a full business out of it. And quite frankly, I'm not as old as some of the people that might be in the chat, but I'm definitely a long ways from being young. And climbing up and down these ladders and swinging hammers just don't agree with me that much.
We got to get a bigger sand blaster, but we did some parts a few months ago for a side by side. Can't miss the guy in neon orange now.
You know, they can do anything that you want to send them. Now, tell us a little bit about your grandson and your son. They have an amazing little grandson that wants to touch and love on every fish. Ryan Bortz does BCAT boards, planer boards, and he does it full time now. He says, "Be careful what you wish for. Doing rod holders and stuff full time may mean no longer fishing anymore. Ask him how he knows."
Well, you know what? Okay, so all I've ever done all my life was long hard. Our first daughter had 3 open heart surgeries before she was 3. And so our adulthood started off with Janice living at Denver Children's Hospital, and I was working 3 jobs at 100 plus hours a week. And this is how our life started. So if I'm building rod boulders 6 days a week and I only get to go to church and fish 1, I'll be grateful for that. Because I want our business that we've worked so hard and so many long hours for, I want it to go. I got to work for someone. You know, the question is who? Am I going to continue to work for other people, really long, hard hours so that some corporate person can fatten their back pocket? Or am I going to be able to work for myself over the next year or two? Like that's the question. I got to work for someone. You know, I mean, who's it going to be?
Yeah.
I would rather it be me. I would rather work for myself. I've worked for other people all my life, and I'm 50 years old. I want to work for me. I feel that we make a good product that many people can enjoy. I feel they're good quality. I feel they're durable. We put our heart and soul into every single one of them. It doesn't matter whether it's a gift or whether someone purchases it. We have the same principle with each one. We give it everything we got, and we trust God with the outcome. You know, and so far, you know, praise the Lord, we've only had a few people that were unhappy with what we do over the last 3 years. For the most part, people really like what we do. And that's why we stay with what we do.
Y'all do amazing work. I won my first 2 rod holders.
Hey, John.
Hey, John. There's
Hello,
River Cat
Mr.
back
John.
with me.
How are you doing tonight, Mr. John?
And grandson loves fishing, and he gets mad. He got mad. He's been getting mad because we put the fish back.
He is right in the middle of it the whole time, though. He's
Oh
right.
yeah, it could be pouring like it was last weekend, and he'd have to pet a fish.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, see, there's a lot of gratitude, because I'm not going to downplay the stress and the heartache. I had most of my gray hair at 35, so I'm not going to downplay the stress and the heartache. But our son in 2004 got they never even told us what he had.
Possible encephalitis.
Possibly encephalitis, but they took his fever lightly, and it ended up frying his brain. Basically turned his brain into an egg. So he's had a seizure disorder for the last 21 years. He doesn't talk. We're in with different doctors now that he's over 20, and so they're trying to sort out his meds to kind of help him out. For the last 3 months here, he hasn't been able to stand up. So it's been a lot more stressful on Janice while I'm at work because he can't stand up. He tried to stand up, he just fall over. And now they're starting to sort out some different medicines on him to where now he's back up walking around, trashing the house again, And back in 2019, we went down home to Southeast Missouri for my uncle's funeral. Our daughter decided to stay behind, our middle daughter. She was pregnant with grandson. We found out after she got pregnant that all these years she's been misdiagnosed, and that her actual problems are not anxiety or asthma per se, but a very enlarged heart valve. So any woman that's had a child knows that there's a lot of extra blood flow there when you're pregnant. Well, we found out with her that this really was a big deal because her heart valve was so big that it would open to let blood into the lungs, but it would block the exit to where the blood couldn't get back out. So if she got remotely excited, it would be like suffocating. And so she decided to stay behind. And praise God she did, because when we was on our way back, she thought she had pneumonia because she couldn't hardly breathe. She went into the doc. They life-flighted her over to Omaha, and they ended up taking grandson, emergency C-section, 10 weeks early, and he was stillborn, so they had to bring him back. And then 2 weeks after that, they couldn't keep the fluids under control, so they had to do open heart surgery on her to start work on that valve. And so, grandson spent, was it 3 months in that incubator? So I was
in 9 days.
So I was traveling back and forth from work in Seward up to Omaha, either in the van or on my Harley. It didn't matter which one, depended on weather. I was riding all the way over. It's like hour and a half, 2 hours each way. I would ride over to Seward, do my 10 hours or 12 hours or whatever, and I'd ride back to Omaha and stay the night with our daughter and grandson. Me and Janice alternated on this for a couple of months until I wrecked my bike that same year. I bounced my Honda off an SUV and got laid up for 7 weeks that year. And then during that time, he got to finally come home. But I don't want to downplay the stress. Like it's been a lot for us over the last 30 years. But we are grateful, that we still have our 3 kids, whatever their health may be, we still have them. We still
that
have each other. Back in December, we just celebrated 30 years of marriage. That's not something to be taken lightly either. And our grandson he's healthy. He's very, very active, insanely active. We have lots of action scenes from Transformers and Ninja Turtles that have to happen all over the house. And he just is constant about wanting to go fishing. Like, he loves to be outside. He wants to go outside and find roly-polies under boards and stuff. He wants to go catch fish and turn them loose. And sometimes he even kisses them. He saw that Alyssa, I don't, I'll probably butcher her name, but Pisek or Pasek, he's seen her kissing fish on one of the videos. And so he does that sometimes. He'll kiss the fish before he throws it back in the water.
But that's what I wanted to highlight. Janice is doing these quilts, and Janice is doing this artwork, and Janice is taking care of these kids. And this family, Jerry is there for her. She's there for Jerry. I'm Lisa and I are part of their field staff, and I can't say enough. Every morning I wake up to a good morning and a devotion.
As long as he's on the right, chat.
Yeah, as long as Jerry's on the right chat, we get
on the right chat.
Oh, yeah, as long as I'm in the right messenger.
But that's a big deal, guys. To start off, Jerry helps us start off the day right, and they're blessed by all these different things that they've got going on in their life. They're sitting there with this. They're sitting there with, all this stuff going on, but they're still taking on more and working harder at it every day. And everything is a blessing if you look at it the right way. And Jerry and Janice look at it the right way. Go out there and follow them, stay with them, follow their Facebook page. I'm sitting here with my phone just a second ago. Steve Hooker Thomas is in the chat. He took the week off to go on vacation, and so he can't join us tonight. But I looked in Facebook real quick. I actually trying to pull up YouTube on Facebook, so I don't always get the right stuff. But I just found out a few minutes ago, Jerry and them added another team member to their affiliates or staff tonight. That's Mr. Justin Funderburg. He's over in Northwest Arkansas. He does a lot of fishing, and he's out there all the time. And Jerry's trying to build his business, trying to build his following, and we need y'all to step in there and help. Just look at all the stuff that he's got going on, and all the stuff Miss Janice has going on, and the quality of what they do. Just look at their stuff; it'll blow you away. I wanted for Jerry to mention, talk about his kids and his grandkids. They're amazing. I watch that stuff all the time. Let's see here.
My grandson's sleeping tonight.
Is he sleeping tonight?
He'd be here in wrestling matches with stuffed animals.
I was wondering where he was.
He got into the shower after playing with roly-polies outside and wanted a nap.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Chrissy, for dropping that.
No, I thank God every single day, not just for my family, but also for the other people that the Lord places in our lives and the roles that we serve. You know, that's, yeah, I would be lying if I said it was always easy, but I just try to stay focused on what I have rather than what I don't.
Yeah.
And what I have is the best affiliate or staff team that I feel a guy could possibly ask for to represent my products. I have 3 beautiful kids. I have an amazing grandson, and I have the greatest woman I've ever known in my entire life, and the toughest son of a gun I've ever known in my entire life as my life partner. 30 years in counting. I don't know how a guy could be more blessed than that, you know.
That is the big thing. Look, counting all your blessings every day. They show up whenever you least, if you least thinking about it. You know, that's when they show up, and we don't always count our blessings every day. But if we slow down and look, it makes a huge difference in our life. We appreciate things a whole lot more. But Chrissy, thank you for dropping their links.
See? Nope. I don't want to do that. How do I get back out of it?
Uh-oh. Jerry,
Okay,
what does the
there we go.
419? Norman wants to know what the 419 refers to.
It's Matthew 4:19. And Jesus saith unto them, follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men.
Okay.
That's what it's based on. More
There
than
you go,
anything
Norman.
else, and I don't want it to seem like I want to preach to folks, because I ain't here for that. But more than anything else, even if I never make a nickel at this thing, if someone comes to eternal salvation from it, then I've accomplished my mission.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I hold no reservations about putting those numbers in the title for my business. I know some people won't deal with me because of that, but that's part of the gig, I guess.
That's just part of it. You know. But more people will deal with you because of it than won't deal with you because of it.
Well, that's the other side of this fantastic crowd this YouTube crowd that's been placed in our lives. Miss Chrissy and Eric B, JB Outdoors, like these guys do Bible studies almost daily. And so, like, it really doesn't matter what you want, you can find it, And so sometimes it's kind of a toss-up as to how much time I spend in each chat, because everything you guys are involved with, I want to be a part of. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what you're doing, who you're doing it with. But also, I like to show that support to those other 3 as well. They're doing the Lord's work, and that's more important than anything else. So, and I'm really
River Cats Tackle sent Jerry some hooks the other day, about a month or so ago, and Jerry's then fell in love with them hooks.
My favorite is the 3-aught. Love the hook.
But
they are details are irrelevant as to how we switched over to River Cat Tackle. All the details are irrelevant, but like we have used and gifted and supported many small businesses over the last 2 years, and Our hook of choice is River Cat Tackle. I feel those are the best hooks on the market based on the ones I've used, obviously. Um, I like I. It doesn't matter. I bet I personally caught 35 fish on one of those hooks down in Kansas, and it was still just as sharp after 35 fish as it was on the first one. Like they're good hooks. They're quality. I am not afraid to push that name.
And they use those hooks. They use what's the rod that you use?
Um, we actually have quite a variety of rods.
We got that Mariner.
I did buy one Mariner from John.
Yeah, but what is Janice's favorite rod?
My pink meat hunter.
I was gonna say she's kind of tied right now. 6 or 8 months ago, her favorite rod would have been her Mondo Cat, which is made right here in eastern Nebraska. But that meat hunter that I bought her and personalized for her, she really fell in love with that thing. So we have a variety of rods. Like I have a Mariner. We have a meat hunters, whisker seeker. Unfortunately, I don't have any trophy cat tackle at the moment. A teenager needed a good fishing pole, and that was the only one I had that would fit what he needed. So he got my last trophy cat on. That was my flathead snatcher.
That and guys, the reason I want to point this out, and I'm glad to hear him say this. He sat there and if they're out fishing and they run across somebody that needs something, they ain't afraid to help them. They ain't afraid to get out and give them, set them up. He's like so many of the others. I was, whoa, that didn't work. He's like so many of the others of us. He tries to help those around him. And
Hey, Mark.
One of the kids that I'm working with currently, I believe he just turned 21. He's getting cleaned up from smoking and drinking and all of that. He's behaving himself. He's getting his life together. And I gave him a rig. I gave him an Abu Garcia 7000 catfish special or catfish pro or whatever they call it. It was the 7000. I gave him one of those, and I gave him I think with shipping and all, I think I gave him about $150 for that rod. It's good. And he wanted a good catfish rig. Well, I gave him the rod because I didn't really, I don't know. I'm not as comfortable with rods with short handles because I don't have to fish boats. I like rods with longer handles because I'm always on the fan. And that one happened to have a little bit shorter handle. It was a really nice rod, really strong, but like I wasn't afraid of it. I picked up a heavy cooler in my front yard with it, so I wasn't afraid to gift it. So I gave him the rod, but then he didn't have a good reel to put on it. And he's got babies, he's got diapers to buy, the kid's getting his life straightened out. And I have extra stuff. God always gives me more than I need. And so I told myself, tell you what, here you go. I was like, you got, essentially with shipping and everything, you got a $400 rig right here that will catch you anything in freshwater. And most of what's in salt. So I was like, enjoy it. Have fun. And he's thrilled to death to get that thing. I mean, I don't know. God always gives me extra, and I always share it. And so it seems there's a nice pattern.
you can't outgive God.
No, you cannot. His arms are bigger than yours.
Yep. Chrissy said it's always a blessing to help others, and that's for dang sure. Um, let's see here. Hello, Mark, Catfish and Crappie. There was something over here I wanted to say a minute ago. My memory don't hold up no more. I can't remember nothing. Daryl's out here. Thought he might drop in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the show tonight, but he's not made it. Oh, Chrissy made the comment, when you work and something that you enjoy, something that you love, it makes a huge difference. Lisa and I do our little job, our little company, Swain Appraisals. We look at wrecked cars, motorcycles, boats, whatever, campers, horse trailers, farm equipment. That we look at that for insurance companies that's damaged. We enjoy what we do because of the people that we meet.
That's how we met Norman Mountain.
Yep. You know, we get to meet some really cool people. And the way we look at it is we're helping people at one of the worst times of their life. But we get up every morning and go to work with a smile on our face. And working for yourself, sometimes it's headaches, but that smile on your face every day doing it makes a huge difference. Watch Jerry and Janice whenever they're doing a video, they're smiling. If they're in the garage doing powder coating, they're smiling. If they're playing with the kid, they're smiling. You know, if they've got their son out there in the back of the truck, they're smiling. They always got a good outlook. So that's what makes it so cool.
Well, I have to smile. Janice is my whole life. She's my whole world. I would, if it wasn't for her, I would probably be in a camper on a riverbank somewhere.
I understand that.
But instead of an old crappy house that we have to fix up, we have a home because of Janice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, I have a family to provide for because of Janice. Like she is my life. She's my whole world. I have to smile. Like, what else can I do?
Yep. That's a real good part of it. That's a real good part of it all. But,
you know, every single time that all these medical issues come knocking on the door, you know, Janice just stands back to back with me and we fight the wolves. You know, she ain't never run off. She just sucks it up and keeps on going forward. And she knows I got her back at all costs.
And that's important. That is important. Well, guys, it's been a little over an hour now. We've been live. And is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap up this show tonight?
You know, I was pretty scared to do this whole deal. I don't do this kind of thing. But, you know, I appreciate y'all having me on here. I appreciate you believing in our products. You know. But more importantly than anything, I appreciate that you're yourselves. You know, I wholeheartedly feel that if I met you in person, you'd be the same person that I'm staring at on this here phone screen.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the kind of people I want around me. I want people that are genuine.
Yeah. I don't know how to be anybody else.
Me either.
So tonight we got Daryl's fantastic replacement. You know, we were the comment was made, if we want to have a show, me and her could have a show tonight. But if we didn't want to have a show, we didn't have to. And we were trying to come up with somebody to bring on, and I mentioned it to Daryl, and then Daryl says, well, I'm not going to be there, so I don't care. You know, then I asked Lisa, and she said, well, this is who I think. And so that's the reason you're here tonight. And she said, we're going to have a show regardless. So,
well, we look forward to these shows every week.
I can't thank y'all enough for coming up tonight. And I can't thank Lisa enough for producing the show and having the show tonight. I know she wishes that I would shut up a whole lot more than I do. But, you know, I can't help myself.
Well, this is a product of her patience and tolerance because I'm pretty computer stupid. So, especially when he's on the wrong chat. Yeah, especially if I'm on the wrong chat.
He messaged me
If
this
I'm
morning.
on my business messenger, then Facebook will not send me notifications of my personal message. If I'm on my personal messenger, I'll get notifications of the business stuff. But if I'm on the business side and I don't remember to switch it back, then there could be 100 people reach out to me on the personal side, and I'd never know.
You know, and what he's referring to, guys, is yesterday he was sitting there messaging, and when nobody replying, he was messaging to the team, and nobody was replying because he was on the wrong messenger. And you're 100% right, Chrissy. Me and Jerry are both proof of that. Chrissy says that behind every good man is an awesome wife. And so...
I know I'm awesome.
Exactly. If you don't, if you and Janice don't know that y'all are awesome wives, you know, you should.
Hey, anytime a host says there's X amount of awesome people in here, what do I always put in the chat? I know I'm awesome. Every time.
And
we know you're awesome too.
Wandering around the field somewhere.
Bobby, if you weren't my brother, I would totally disown you.
But,
Yep, I would totally disown you, Bobby, if you weren't my brother.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap this show up. Appreciate everybody that's been in here tonight. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Don't log off, Jerry.
Yeah, Janice, don't run off whenever this ends. She, you know, again, thanks Lisa for producing the show and setting this up and taking care of this, because you and I both know there's no way that I could have ever done it.
Nope.
So
Gimpy, I know he didn't say what corner, but I know exactly who he was talking about, and it sure was not me.
Okay.
Have a good one, Norman. Norman, get off your butt and go fishing with us.
Norman, we're gonna have a new motor on the boat later in the next day or two.
Go fishing with us, Norman.
I'll come help you, Norman, one day if you'll come fishing with us. I'll help you get a day ahead. See y'all later, guys.